All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Welcome to 411 Sports World Network. I am Mr. 411. In the studio today is the one and only Bill McNair. How you doing today?
I am doing great. Nice to be on this side of the dirt, as my roommate used to say back in the days.
Absolutely. And hey, man, I'm blessed to be here as well. And man, we're gonna get into some things today. We're gonna get into power forward and what power forward is and what it's all about. And also some maybe some things that people may not even know about you, Bill. So I can't wait to get into those things and some of the things that you've done that are legendary too. That I think a lot of people will enjoy learning about today. But hey, before we get rolling, make sure you follow us um, on YouTube under 411 Sports World Network. That's on YouTube, 411 Sports World Network on YouTube. That's where we are currently now. We're also on a simulcast. So if you go over to TikTok, if you're over there now, you'll see this show on TikTok as we speak. And that's under Mr. 411, MisterFourOneone. Also follow us on Instagram, Mr. 411, spelled out just like that. And hey, the one and only Bill McNair, make sure you follow him as well on TikTok. Make sure you follow him at Bill McNair. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that. Make sure you follow Bill McNair on TikTok. So do that for us as well. And hey, before we talk about Power Forward, let's talk about the author, Bill McNair. Oh man, his life has been shaped by basketball leadership and an unwavering commitment to his community, from the neighborhood courts of his youth and competing at the collegiate level for East Carolina University and Georgia Southern University. You know, those places instilled discipline in his life. Bill McNair is a family man. Uh, he's also a family man as well, and that's part of his life being shaped. And we're going to get into a lot of the story behind Mr. McNair there too. Currently in Kennesaw, Georgia, um, but he's been in other places in Georgia as well, such as Milledgeville, Georgia, which is a place that that's where I met him when he was in Milledgeville, Georgia. He's also from North Carolina, and I don't want to just give out everything because I want Mr. McNair to break it down for us. All right, and he's also, AKA, the greatest basketball official of all time. Uh, so we'll talk about that as well too. But he's a proud graduate too of Georgia Southern University. All right, Mr. McNair. I hope I gave enough there to make you look good.
Hey man, I appreciate it. Of course, we talked the other day, and I was telling you that we kind of cut from the same cloth. So I think we both are very good people, and you did a great job of introducing me. And hey, I'm proud to be on your show.
Hey, thank you. It's definitely an honor to have you on. All right, power forward. What is power forward about?
You know, most people would use that as a basketball term, but it's more of a mindset. So, anytime you have obstacles in your life, challenges, or anything else, you got to reach down deep and figure out a way to pull that power out. And what I said was you have to power forward. And that comes with a lot of support. Uh, I usually look at it as faith, family, friends, and actually the community where you live, or even the community, the work community. I mean, you need it all in order to power forward and to reach your goals.
All right, faith, family, friends, and community. That's definitely uh, that definitely covers it there, man. So power for this book, and the book is going to release on October 3rd, correct?
That's correct. That's right. October 3rd, from what I heard from Amazon, which would be on Amazon in hardcover and ebook. But what I heard is it's going to be right at about 12 in the morning, 12 a.m. on Friday. You can click it and go ahead and get that copy in either format. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy it because I've had some emotions kind of looking at it. And so you may have, sometimes you may have to cry a little bit, but then the other times you're going to be joyful and happy about what's going on or what happened in my life.
Yes, sir. Amazing. Okay. Well, what Bill McNair, I mean, I met you in the state of Georgia, but you are from originally from the state of North Carolina. Anything you want to share about that?
Well, I'm from a little town called Dunn. If you ever went or traveled up 95 going towards Washington D.C. or any of those things, you pass through my hometown. So I think it's exit 73 or something like that. I think 73, 74, 75. But Dunn is a little small place. Not a lot of people there, but it's a lot of good people there. I was actually raised in a little area called Redbone, and Redbone is right there in the Greenwood Cemetery. Right, that's one of the landmarks. We have Greenwood Cemetery, but the actual street that I lived on was called Short Street. So when I was writing the book, and I'm self-published, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it Short Street Publishing. So I had to
Yeah.
trademark that. So anytime you see that, you'll see Short Street Publishing. And you never know, Tyrone, when you write your book, guess what? I may be the publishing company that publishes it for you.
Hey, hey, all right.
Short,
I
it's gonna
like
be
that.
short street publishing. That's what's gonna be. Yeah. So,
Oh,
uh,
and, no, oh, go ahead. I was gonna let you
but
continue.
I was gonna say, but Dunn, when I was writing the book, we can talk a little bit about, since we're talking about Dunn. But one thing that I realized writing the book is how important family was to me, and actually the community and the faith that I was talking about earlier, and friends. And really what I really uh, recognized or understood, that my uncles were very important to me, and I didn't really know that. But go through
Mhm.
different challenges, but they were there for me as a young kid, and that was the result of my mom, of course, having me early, and she had younger brothers, and we were raised somewhat together. But let me tell you, the I would have to tell you, I could tell you a quick little story about me traveling. It's in the book, but I will tell you this just to give you a little bit. But
Okay.
my uncles, we went to an all black school called Harnett High School. It was K through 12. I was a kindergarten, I guess, at 4 year olds. I don't know what it is back then. It may have been four, may have been five. I think it's pre-K now at four. I don't know.
Well, 4 3K, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that would have been pre-K, and then kindergarten would have been, maybe I was around 5 years old. But my uncles were in school, and this was in the late '60s at that time. So I'm kind of giving my age, but they were uh, uh, high school students. They used to drop me off at my class, but I had to walk to school with them. So we had to walk a mile and a half or so to school. And as a young kid, I had to run after them. So running after my uncles, walking to Harnett High School at that time, uh, I didn't realize it until later on, that until I was writing this book, I was like, man, that was part of my training, because they didn't wait on
Yeah.
me. I had to run
Yeah.
after them. So now my legs are burning, everything's hurting, but they didn't wait on me and then made sure I was training. And maybe they didn't mean to it to be that way, but that's exactly what it was. It was training for me back in those days. So I look at that as part of my athletic ability and trying to become more of an athlete, and really a man, just hanging out with my uncles.
Yeah, very good, man. Yeah. And like they say, it take a village, to raise. And like, in this case, that's what it seems like. I can't wait to get more of the detail in the book. But I definitely appreciate you sharing, giving us a glimpse there of the early stage there. And then you said Short Street Publishing, but I'm not sure exactly how tall you are, but I don't think you're short. This is the
No,
irony behind that, isn't
exactly. Yeah. It was a little short street, to be honest with you, and um, on my little short street, it was five houses on that street, and it was a short little dirt road. And I was talking to my mom last week, and this is absolutely crazy, but we had an outhouse, and the
it?
outhouse was not even our outhouse. It was the community's outhouse. So,
Oh wow.
so we didn't even have our own outhouse. So that was kind of crazy to kind of hear that. So when I say done, and then people who see me now, and it wasn't always like that, because we were. I can't say we were poor. We just didn't have a whole lot of money, but there was a lot of love in that house. There was a lot of uh, faith, like I said before. It was a lot of us helping each other out because we knew how to lift each other up. And I think we were talking the other day, and I was saying that, you know what? What's the definition of success? And I
Mm-hmm.
was saying for my grandparents who raised me at that time, success could have been just having food on the table. So when you look at that like that, you have to appreciate everything that you have. And that's why I'm trying to be a good steward of everything the Lord has given to me.
Yeah. Amen to that. And that's true. That's stuff to live by. That, a lot of times we don't appreciate, we don't take the moment to sit back and just think about like our accomplishments and what we have done in life. We all are successful, you know what I'm saying? In one
Exactly.
way or another. Yep.
Exactly. Don't let anyone ever tell you that you're not, because there's different levels of success. And as we were mentioning the other day, I mean, for a referee, I mean, shoot, man, if I was able to get a middle school game at one time when I finally talked about that, and I do speak of this in my book, but
Okay.
that was success, just being able to have a middle school game. There was a referee that I had my first game with, Ronnie Dixon, and at the Oconee Association at that point. So having that first middle school game, I was really excited about it. And of course, I could tell you a whole lot of refereeing stories too. But right
Yeah.
now, we're gonna talk a little bit about the journey, and then go from there.
Right, right. Okay. Well, early in your childhood, you had challenges and you was coming up from there. What you mentioned running was part of your working out. What got you into sports?
Well, I had young uncles, and as you read the book, you realize that my uncles were very athletic, and chasing after them every day. That was part of what we did. We didn't have organized recreation back then,
Okay.
and I explained that in the book as well. So in my neighborhood, I had Miss Effie that did the Easter egg hunts for us, and Mr. Steve, who was my best friend at that time, Ropey. Everybody had nicknames too, Tyrone. I don't know
Yeah.
if you but
I'm
my
learning
best,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But my best friend at that time, Ropey, his dad put up a wooden backboard goal, and sometimes it had a rim on it. Other times it would have a bicycle rim or whatever it would. But we would always play over in there on that sandlot court. And as we continued to move through, or life for me, I started to develop more of a basketball game because my first love was always football, man. Let me tell you, I wanted to be O.J. Simpson. I wanted to be Jim Brown at some point.
Oh,
It was Jim Brown first, then O.J. Simpson. And when you read in the book, my nickname became the Juice because I was really elusive on the football field in what we called the pepper plant little field that they had in the back of the field. We would sneak in that field and play. And so football was my first love. And I was always fast because of chasing my uncles. Now that I realize after writing this book, but
yeah.
uh, but my speed was always there. And then as I developed into a little bit stronger person, it kind of worked itself out. Uh, my grandfather Charlie, he had me out there in North Carolina. It used to be colder back then in North Carolina. I don't know why, but it used to snow all the time. But we did have a wooden heater. In the wood heater, we would have to cut um, the logs or whatever it was. So I'm out there chopping wood. He used to put me on, I guess it's called a pull saw. He would be on
Oh,
one side, I would be on the other side, and he
you all
would
right.
throw me around that thing until I got strong enough to say, "Go ahead, buddy, keep going. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you." And what happened during that time is I started to develop like arm strength. So even like today, man, I can go to the gym just for 1 second and say, "Bang, bang, bang," my arms will pop up. But it's probably because of all that training, unofficial training that I had
Right.
as a kid, um, with my grandfather cutting wood. Sound real lumberjack and somebody from the deep country or something, but that's exactly what happened to me. Developed some of that. So uh, you didn't have TV and everything like you do now. I mean, back then we used to wait for a wide world of sports to come on. Um, One of the things that I do remember is being in my neighborhood and we're trying to listen to the Ali fights. So if it, Ali Frazier or whatever it was, so we're out there trying to
Mhm.
listen. But at that time, it was only on the radio. So you listen to it on the radio, and guess what? It wasn't even a continuous radio program, you had to get updates by the round. So somebody would come in and say, all right, Ali won this round. All right, Frazier won this one, whatever. And you watched it a week later on Saturday when Wild World of Sports would come on and they would actually show the actual fight. So of course I was a big Muhammad Ali fan. And if you look in my little office right here at home, I have a lot of Ali all around this place because he, to me, he was the GOAT.
Yeah. Well, you just answered my question there because since you brought up Ali, I was going to say you. So you basically seen boxing from that era. I see Ken Norton's and through the Larry Holmes, all the way through Tyson, Holyfield, all the way up to today with Usyk and guys like that. So you do think, based on everything you've seen there, that Ali's in your opinion, the greatest boxer that you've seen?
Well, as far as style, charisma,
Okay.
everything you want to put in it, I would think that he is. I mean, if you're talking about the greatest, and everybody's always talking about that LeBron and Jordan debate, and to me, if you put everything with the style, just gracefulness and everything else, you have to pick Jordan. But if you want to say the longevity of a career and being great for 23 years. I mean, LeBron is 23 years into his career and he is great today. So, how many
Yeah.
people can say that they went 23 years and never missed a beat? Crazy thing about it, let's talk a little bit like Coach Lunsford from Baldwin High School at that time. Then he was at GMC, legendary coach from Millersville. I write about him in the book too, because he was the reason why I came to Millersville. And
Okay.
because my first uh, job that I thought I was going to get in Millersville was working as a assistant coach under Coach Lunsford, because I coached basketball in Portal before then, and I wanted to learn from somebody who really had a hold on the Georgia high school basketball coaching ranks. But well, I just remember him even way back then. He came back from Michael Jordan's camp in Santa Barbara, and he said, "Hey man, you won't believe it, but there was this eighth grader there that they're saying is going to be the number one pick." And I'm like, eighth grader, number one pick? Who in the world going to say an eighth grader is going to be a number one pick? Well, that person ended up being LeBron James.
Wow.
Yeah, so um, just to hear stuff like that, I mean, so the LeBron, if I'm saying 23 years in the NBA as a great player, but you probably can go back 23 years of his life before then, and or have 18 years before his life. He's probably born a basketball player. So
Yeah.
when you have somebody like that, I mean, that's a generational talent that don't it won't happen. I think it won't happen again for us. Uh, which my favorite all-time player, and I don't know if everybody even know who he is, but his name was David Thompson. He was a North Carolina State guy,
Oh man.
Skywalker, and
Look him up.
I tried to pattern my game after that. So in high school, if you could see the film, you would see me catching alley oops and dunking it in like Thompson. But of course, he was a lot better player than me. But I tried to pattern myself after DT, the one and only Skywalker.
Wow, that's a great one though, and I'm glad you brought his name up because when you talk about players in the history of the game, David Thompson name may not roll off people's tongue, but I mean, just imagine this guy could literally he could pretty much touch the top of the backboard, and he was about
Right.
6'4" maybe.
6'4", maybe. Yep,
Yeah,
6'4".
so that
But
just
yeah,
shows you how what kind of hops he
yeah.
had.
Oh man, I tell you what, in when I was in, I guess at that point I would have been a little bit young. I had to be in high school though when he was playing, and I had like every article from Sports Illustrated, every whatever, and I would cut them out, and I made my own David Thompson scrapbook. But there was this guy in my class. I can't remember his name now, but I think he stole my book. But but Thompson was the man. I mean, I'm talking about the man, and no matter what you say, if I had to say the greatest of all time back then, I was, oh man, David Thompson. But
Yeah.
of course, we've seen some good ones. I've always liked Dr. J. We used to run, make sure we got some bologna and got ready to watch him play. When he played with Virginia, he was with the Virginia Squires or Virginia somebody.
Right. The ABA. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So we used to run around and see that. So I had a love for basketball for from a young age, and of course I'm from North Carolina. In North Carolina, you don't need. We didn't need an NBA team because the ACC was our NBA.
Hmm.
So when you think about the Bob McAdoos that played for North Carolina, and even like the Walter Davis, the Phil Fords, and some of those folks that we really thought were great at that time, but then because Thompson, when he first came to the league, he didn't play. Something happened his freshman year. I have to look at the whole story. But then when he came in as a sophomore, I don't think they let freshmen play back then.
Okay.
And you couldn't dunk back then either. So that's how they developed that alley oop, so he could just jump over everybody and they throw it to him and lay it in. So things like that were instrumental in just trying to shaping me, just watching guys like that. And let me see, my favorite NBA team at that time uh, would have been the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean,
Oh,
Kareem,
well, Kareem.
Lou Alcindor. Yeah,
Okay.
'cause I used to go over to Ropey's Yard and we would be uh, would play. Sometimes I have a lot of people over there. Other times, you know what? I was by myself, and that became my laboratory. Man, it was my laboratory, and I worked on my craft. And I may be Wilt Chamberlain on one end. Well, actually, it was a little tiny little court, but his dad put another goal on the other end so that the younger kids could play in it too. So he was our recreation director in our neighborhood. To be honest with you, and so he had those courts. So I would go on one end on the big goal, and I would be Wilt Chamberlain. I'd come to the other end, and I tried a little sky hook like I was Kareem. So it's a lot of practicing in that laboratory to make myself at least a player that could stand hanging out with some of those guys who were really really good, and those guys ended up being my uncles.
Wow.
Because I had to had an incident one time when or memory that I have from playing, and my uncles were playing against a team from the other side of town, and it's like okay, so it was like man, and then we treated the Ropey's court as if it was the Madison Square Garden. So they came in, bragging or whatever. So they played in the game and they won the first game. So oh man, they won. So now one of my uncles had to leave. And I can't remember if we were playing 3-on-3, 4-on-4, or whatever, but it was a little small court, but we had a lot of people out there. So my uncles looked over at me and said, "Hey, you want to play?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "All right, when you get in here, you catch the ball and don't shoot, just pass it. If it comes to you, just pass it." And I said, "Okay." So I went out there a little bit nervous, and we played, and we get down to the finals of that, and the whole game I'm just kind of passing around, and I wouldn't shoot because I wouldn't dare shoot because my uncle would have probably kicked me to the curb if I did that. So one play, my uncle got a rebound, went to the hole, missed it, ball bounced out. One of my other red bone folks, they caught the ball, shot a long shot, bang, it hit the rim, bounced over to the corner. Guess who's standing in the corner? Me. All of a sudden, I'm like, what do I do? Because I mean, my directive was don't shoot. So finally, I'm sitting there, and then the guys from the other team, they knew I was a little young dude. Said, we ain't not gonna worry about him at all. So they backed off me. So
Mm.
finally, I didn't have anybody to throw it to, and my uncle said, "Shoot!" And I was like, "I wonder if this a trick. So should I do it or not?" So I said, "Okay." So I let it go, and it went as high as I've ever seen a ball go in my whole life, and it came down right through the hoop. And from that point, my confidence was there for basketball, and it created a passion for basketball that I even have today, and which I don't play. I don't play, of course, but I still am around the game through refereeing.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
very good, very good. Hey man, that's like what Steve Kerr made that shot over in the corner when Jordan kicked it out.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, oh,
so
yeah.
there it
Yeah.
is, big time
Yeah.
shot there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the book, you will hear a lot about really my uncles, especially early on, because the book basically starts when I was born kind of worked my way through. It talks a lot about family in the beginning, and then, like I said, my mom Bessie, who was the grandmother that raised me, the love that she showed us, um, learning how to interact with people, and from a little small area, not having confidence in yourself, and how do you develop that confidence? And athletics give you a vehicle to develop confidence. Of course, the teamwork is there, but then confidence too. And athletics gave me that confidence, because sometimes you start from a place, humble beginnings, like I did. Don't even have my own outhouse.
Wow.
No running water, so you're using the pump from the well to get your water, and then you you think of everybody else as being so much better than you because they have that. And
Hmm.
what I'm trying to the point I'm trying to make is, I never think that way. I mean, you just don't have some of the things that they have, but eventually, if you work hard enough, if you power forward through, guess what? You may be able to accomplish some of the goals and be better than the generation before you, or more successful than the generation before you.
Yeah. Hey, what was high school like for you?
Oh man, I tell you what, I finally I had an incident, which you were reading the book, in the eighth grade, where I didn't play the last part of my eighth grade year because I didn't do too well in my classes. Uh, it's a pretty good little story, so I'd rather for you to read that part of it. But
Right.
then, but high school, I tell you what, I went from the beginning of eighth grade to the beginning of ninth grade, which is a year and maybe a little bit, maybe, or just a year. But in that year, the beginning of eighth grade to the beginning of ninth grade, I grew 8 inches.
Wow.
Yeah. So back in those days, my knees hurt like crazy. I went to the Seventh-day Adventist church, and the women in there were like, "Man, you sure are growing." And they were right. I was growing as they were speaking. And so my knees, and they call it Osgood Slaughter knees. So you end up getting those little uh, bumps on your knees. So I
Okay.
ended up getting that little bump. Nothing that's going to affect you a lot of ways, just like cosmetic, or just just kind of looking at it maybe look different. But I mean, it's not really that bad now because I grew on out of it. But I finally grew up, and in the book you'll see how, starting in ninth grade, didn't really play as much for as a ninth grader, until my cousin didn't show up for a game because he went and got a brand new car. And then all of a sudden, the coach mad at him, said, "All right, go in there and do something." So I started in front of him at center, and went in and had 10 points, 10 rebounds, and didn't miss a beat after that. And of course, as a sophomore, made my high school varsity team, and then played well that year. But I had to play. I mentioned uh, Bob McAdoo. As a sophomore, I had to play his cousin, who was Ronnie McAdoo, uh, that dunked on me so hard one time, and I had an afro at that time. He dunked on so hard it parted my hair like the Red Sea. And after that, of course, I moved on, and as a senior, guess who was the new Mark Ronnie McAdoo? I was, because by then I'm 6'5", 6'6", 210, whatever, and just
Hmm.
uh, probably had more dunks than Dunkin' Donuts at that point. So,
Uh,
um, but I mean, I was dunking on everybody, but I was much more athletic than most people on the floor. So that was part of what my claim to fame at that time is, just the athletic ability, which can be a uh, detriment to your basketball game if you're too athletic, because now you don't work on some of those other things, so it slows your progress down a little bit. But eventually, of course, I scored a lot of points. I was even the they used to have this thing called Faces in the Crowd,
okay.
and I uh, actually was in Sports Illustrated in Faces in the Crowd for leading the nation in field goal percentage. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was dunking on everybody, man. Anybody who came near me, they got dunked on. So of course you could. So I was all Metro, which was Raleigh, all East. Played in the East-West All-Star game for North Carolina, of course, and had a honorable mention All-American at that year. But high school was a fun time. I mean, my coach came to me before my senior year and said, mm, in order for us to win, you need to score 30 points a game. And I'm thinking, 30 points a game. Okay. All right. Whatever. First 8 games, 38 points, 26 I was getting 26 rebounds.
Oh, you was like Wilt Chamberlain out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, I, 38 points, 26 rebounds. I was doing everything, man. And we were winning. And we had a game against Harnett Central. And I had 19 points, and it was like 3 minutes left in the first half, and went up for a rebound, came down, twist my
Oh,
ankle. Didn't break it, just sprained my ankle, and I was down for a while. So my 38 points, even though they still made me play as more as a decoy, I just kind of hopped around on the floor for the next 4 games and just didn't have it. And I think that first game out, I had 2 points. Then the next game out, I had 6 points, and then I finally broke 10 on maybe the third, fourth game, double figures, and then of course, then my average would have went down a little bit, actually a lot. But then all of a sudden, my leg was better. I can still remember. I mean, the Fayetteville Times. I was the player of the week for the Fayetteville Times, and they came to interview me, and I was in the the tub, they used to call it. Just getting the ice on the tub. Whirlpool is what we used to call it, I think. And they interviewed me, and I'm there. And but then about a week later, I was about ready. So now, guess who we're playing again? Harnett Central.
it was, oh wow, right
Yeah.
back at it.
Yeah, and I saw some guys in the mall one day, and they were like, "Oh, you're not as good as what they say you are, or whatever." I said, "All right, when I get to your gym, you know what's gonna happen. You're gonna give me the ball, the rim, and even the flag off the wall." And I was determined to back myself up. So we played them, and during that game, the first play, I was jump center, tapped the ball. They shot came down, and anyway, I stole the ball from them some kind of way. I think they got the ball, but I stole the ball, and it was one guy back, and I backed him all the way under that rim. He was playing good defense, but he was playing it all the way to the rim. And
Yeah.
when I got anywhere in that lane, I just jumped up on him, and that same splitting the afro like Ronnie McAdoo did to me, I split it on him. So that game, it was 40 points, 30 rebounds, and 12 dunks. And
Wow.
just so happened, I have a picture on. I know it's in my book, but I think I've been posting the picture where it says "done," and it's got me dunking the ball, and it's black and white. But that was a picture from the Raleigh News and Observer because they covered that game, and they had on the headline, McNair scores 40 and 30 rebounds to lead Dunn to a victory over Harnett Central. I was like, yeah, that's good. That's payback right there.
Yeah.
That was a big payback.
It was. Hey, and it's printed and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah,
and yeah, I can't wait to get the book
yeah, yeah,
so I
yeah.
can
So high
so I
school
can
was
see that.
great, of course, and then got the scholarship to go to East Carolina. I was recruited by a
Mhm.
lot of teams, but then I had to power forward through some grade issues even in high school as a or before my senior year because I had to go to summer school in order to be eligible. So,
Okay.
but I did and worked my way out. Finally, and decided on going to East Carolina. Didn't want to leave North Carolina at that time at all. So anybody from Notre Dame and Texas Christian and Wyoming. It was going to be a package deal to go out there with this guy from a little town called Irwin. His name was Tony something. I don't remember his other name, but we were supposed to go out to maybe even Wyoming. Man, who's going to go to Wyoming? And especially
Mm.
somebody who had never been out of Dunn.
You probably like, where is that?
Yeah, so it's just crazy. So anyway, so little things that happened, but I finally
Yeah.
decided on East Carolina and
Yeah.
stayed for a couple of years and then went to Georgia Southern. So
Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
because I was wondering. I'm still wondering how Wyoming found you.
yeah. Yeah,
But
back then you didn't have camps, but they did have a BC camp. The BC
okay.
camp was in Millersville. That's crazy. I mean, and I ended up in Millersville.
Wow.
But BC camp was in Millersville. I did not go to that camp, but I did see some guys who went. And one of the guys came back. We had a dunk contest at this place called Pembroke State. At that point, Pembroke State College. Um, it's university now, of course, but we had a dunk contest at that camp because I went to their camp and one of the guys that went to that camp actually several of them. Harold Thompson, he played at NC State. My friend Herb Gilchrist, who was one of my rivals in high school in my same county, but we went to East Carolina together. And a couple more guys who went. Kenny Wilson, that was from Southview in Fayetteville. He went to Davidson, but those guys came to Milledgeville to the camp. I couldn't afford it because I just didn't have the money to go that far. But yeah, they had a dunk contest, and I ended up winning. I won the dunk contest at Pembroke, and it was a crazy little deal. When I jumped up, Harold had already had a great dunk right before me because we were the two finalists. I jumped up and spent too far around, and I probably did more of a 540 and had to
Oh,
dunk it from like behind me. And when I dunked it, everybody was like in disbelief, and I probably was in disbelief too because I had to reach back and dunk it. And they came to me afterwards and they said, "Man, you would have won that dunk contest in Milledgeville at BC camp." And the winner of that dunk contest was Doc Rivers.
oh wow,
So the world would never know, but
wow! You
but I
you
but
beat
I
Doc Rivers.
I could in their minds I could have beat Doc Rivers. And
Yeah. All right. Wow, that's amazing. To hear that story there. So Doc Rivers was down here in this area.
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he
Yeah.
oh, that camp was big time in Milledgeville. They had Magic and Isaiah's and everybody was over there. Ralph Sampson, all those things. If you go back and read an article on it, you'll see what it says about that camp. It was big time.
Wow.
Yeah, big time, big time. And I don't know if that was Coach Lunsford and now the late George Raveling. They were real good friends, frat brothers. So he had a connection with some big time people, and I don't know if he was uh, the the reason why it was in Milledgeville or not. I can't really say, but it was a lot of people who used to come to that BC camp in Milledgeville, and I wanted to come. I just couldn't afford to do it at that point.
Right. Right. Hey, speaking of those guys like the Doc Rivers and Isaiah's and Magics, did you did you have aspirations to play in the NBA? I don't think I never asked you that question.
I did, and matter of fact, everybody that were around me, not high school, but in college, I remember this guy at East Carolina. His name was Coach David Pendergrass, and he pulled me to the side one day and said, "Look, Bill, I want to show you how to make it to the NBA." So he wanted to train me on the side, and I didn't really understand what he was saying because I just needed to develop the skill part of it. I had the
Mhm.
size, I was basically Michael Jordan without the skills. I
Well,
mean,
at
to
least
be
you had
honest
half
with
of it.
you. Yeah, yeah, I had half of it. So that because I didn't need it, because I
Hmm.
didn't think I needed, because I was stronger because of hitting those cutting that wood, and my arms all
Right.
big and tight, and I could jump not quite like David Thompson, but I could get up there and you knew I was in the air. And then just a whole lot of things. Quicker. I didn't care if the person if you were my point guard, I would get the rebound, throw it to you, and I would beat you down the floor because I was that fast. I ran track in high school too. So,
Wow.
yeah, so I was like, man, I didn't care. I mean, if you missed it, guess what was happening? I'm dunking it back in. I
Dug
didn't
it.
care. Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever it was always that. So, and I finished my high school career even after having those bad games with my leg hurt, averaging 24 points a game. So I mean, it's not like I was a shabby. I wasn't shabby. So what I'm saying is that all of that was there. So yeah, of course, I had those dreams of NBA, but of course, different things happen in your life, and I am where I was supposed to be, and some kind
Yeah.
of way I was supposed to make it through. I was supposed to be a decent college basketball player. I was supposed to play on that 3-on-3 team, and
Yeah.
then I was supposed to be a halfway decent referee on the Georgia high school circuit.
Yeah, it's amazing how things work out. And you also mentioned that being a coach, so you might have even have been a coach of
Yeah, yeah,
a
because
long time
that
coach.
right, right. I coached 2 years at Portal, and my plan was to come to Baldwin. At one point, I almost thought about just staying at Georgia Southern, try to be a grad assistant and all that kind of stuff. But then I went on the Portal coach, had a successful first year there, with first winning season for them in I don't know how many years at that point. But I had all seniors, and a little in those little tiny schools like that, seniors make a big difference because the next year you're going to have younger people again. So now you got to kind of work your way back up. So yeah, coaching was always one of my dreams as well. But of course, any kid that played basketball and was fairly successful wanted to be in the NBA.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, that may not have worked out, but you did get a chance to play against NBA players through what people think now is Big Three, but it was a hoop it up back in the '90s with
Exactly.
3-on-3 tournaments and some huge events. Man, how did all that come about?
Well, crazy part about it, moved to Milledgeville, and when you read the book, you'll see uh, how I thought my career was just absolutely over, especially after my last college game when somebody hit a last second shot to just not knock us out, but well, I guess knock us out 'cause we were playing against Arkansas Little Rock, and we Mercer won it that year with Sam Mitchell, and that was a Trans-American Conference. So and we were the number one team in the conference because we won the regular season. So of course and we're playing at home. We're supposed to win this thing, and we lost. And after that, it was like devastating to me. And I said it's all over, and then started working out a little bit. Next thing you know, I'm working out well enough to um, talk to a friend of mine named Delaney Rudd that played at Wake Forest, and he actually backed up John Stockton for 10 years at Utah as a guard. So we were supposed to go to a camp together after
Okay.
I worked out all. I was living in Vidalia at that point, and I worked out um, all the time, just 8 hours a day, and I was teaching at that point too, and coaching. But then I moved to Milledgeville and got to play at Georgia College, who was ended up being my best friend, Jerome Shelton. And Jerome played in a tournament in Nashville that was 3-on-3. He and a guy named Jeff Rubel, and Jeff Rubel played at Georgia College with him. Jeff was from Macon. I think he was from Macon. And so they went, played in the tournament. They did okay, but he came back because Jerome was working for us at the rec department at Baldwin County for the summer. He said, "Hey man, I played in this tournament. I mean, we just need to throw together a little team, and I think I can throw together a championship team to win." I was like, "Okay, all right." He said, "Hey,
Wow.
could you get Mike Salisbury, which was a guy from Baldwin County?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." I asked him, but Mike was playing in Spain at that time, so we couldn't really get him. So Jerome and I got together, played in some tournaments, went to um, Atlanta and played in the tournament, and it was a Reebok Coupe de Hoop tournament, which the winner of that would play their championship in Las Vegas at the Lexor Hotel outside, and it was for $100,000.
Oh
So
man.
okay, so we won the regional tournament. Excuse me, we won the Atlanta tournament. Played in the regional. Ended up losing to a team from Dallas with a guy named Billy Fields on, which we ended up beating them in the World Finals in Hawaii a little bit later on in 1995. But Drone was instrumental in putting it together, and then we finally figured out a way to get our uh, final pieces with Mark and then Earl and then eventually Burkett. But we went through a lot of people. But Mike was our first choice. When we finally got him with Mark, Jerome, uh, of course me, and then Mike. I mean, we were unstoppable. We went to Huntsville to a tournament, and they had all these college guys from Huntsville College. They had their girlfriends, coolers, everything poured out there. And Mike was such a good defensive player, and of course I played good D. And Mark, the score was 16-0. You go to 16, we beat them 16-0. So what do you look at? How do you look at your girlfriend when you walk off the floor and you just lost to a team 16-0? So and what I always say too is it was the team
Hmm.
team concept that we had. We had the individuals that knew their role, and we had the individuals who knew how to stay in their lane. So if Mike was on when he was there, he wasn't concerned about scoring a lot of points, but he was going to block every shot you threw up there. Mike's about 6'9". He would block every shot that you threw up there. He was tough, strong, everything on the post, and he knew when we needed shots like that, we got it. Jerome was our outside scorer in most cases. Mark and I just were wingmen that just made sure that the team whatever we needed to do, we were those utility guys that went out there and just made it happen. So Drone put together the championship team, and we spent a lot up front. We spent a lot of our own money trying to get
Mhm.
all that together. Traveling around, driving my little Jeep Cherokee Laredo, which Jerome said had the hard seats all the way to St. Louis, or wherever we went.
Yeah,
And then we come back, and we finally put together that team with Mark and them. And when we finally did, the crazy part, you're reading the book too about how I met our sponsor. Just circumstance, just going back out to the park one day, and this guy walks up and ended up being our sponsor, and went from Champion to Granger, and we Champion got out of Champion Products because the 1996 Olympics, they were a big sponsor for the Olympics, and then they got out of it. Just happened to play in Hawaii, win that championship when we played against Dr. J and excuse me, George Gervin. Dr. J was the coach. Reggie Theus, Danny Ainge, and James Worthy that tournament. They Nike had a representative out there in Hawaii, and they liked us as far as what we were doing. And when they decided to uh, get into the hoop it up business, uh, we were the first team they contacted. So now it was all we had to do is just do it.
right. Like
Yeah,
Nike.
like Nike. So it just worked itself out. But being able to play against people like at one point George Gervin that would play against there. Then he started coaching, so we were around George Gervin in that 3-on-3 probably 5 years in a row. Because he in 3-on-3 and on the hoop it up circuit, '94 we were played in the championship game and lost, so we runners up. 95, we win. 96, play in the championship game and lost. 97, play in the championship game and lost.
Mm.
98, played in the championship game and won. 99, played in the championship game and won. So we were in that game, the championship game on NBC every year from 94 to 98.
I mean, y'all was a mainstay. I
Yeah,
mean, when you think about that,
yeah,
like you're in the mix. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
all the way through.
yeah.
So
At worldwide.
yeah, and what was it like to play against like Artis Gilmore and Kenny Smith and Danny Ainge, and I know that a lot of these guys, right, at this point, they're not actually playing in the NBA, right? They're kind of
Right.
either just getting out or like in the Gilmore case, he's probably been out for a longer
Yeah,
time. But
yeah,
what was it like to play against,
yeah. Well,
NBA size guys?
right. The Hawaii, what makes that even more special, besides George Gervin, every one of those guys had just retired that year.
Okay.
Danny Ainge in 1995 retired. James Worthy was freshly retired. Reggie Theus freshly retired. Uh, Gervin was smoother than them, and he had been retired for a few years, but he was smooth, man. But so what they did is they said, you know what, they lost to a team from Orlando the year before, and they said, you know what, we're going to beef it up and we're going to get some younger guys. So even if you watch the whole show when they did that Hoop It Up show, Dr. J said, "Now my boys are up, and we got some young guys this year, And that show was really one of the best shows. If I did post it, and
Okay.
I finally got the cut copy of it from Jerome's daughter last Sunday. So I'm going to repost it because I'm telling you, I was telling you yesterday, I'm looking at the thing and I'm like, oh man, did we win? I'm excited just by watching it myself. So I'm sure other people would enjoy it too. But they went out and recruited some young guys who had just retired, and we beat them. I mean, when you look at the game, we barely won the game, but we won the game.
Yeah.
But I look at it, and we finally figured it out after '94 because we wanted Mike to play and he couldn't play because he was playing over in Spain, and we wanted to replace him with somebody, and we always win. We had Cliff Livingston that replaced Mike at one point, so
The
he
NBA.
played with us. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Right before he went to, I think he went to Denver or San Antonio. He played with us in Philly. We went to
Okay.
actually no, we were in DC because we were playing at the somewhere in DC. And crazy part about it is, of course, Cliff Livingston, he played at Chicago and with Jordan and them and got the ring. I can't remember
Right.
which year that was, but he had all these connections. So we're looking through the Jet magazine. You remember that?
Yeah, yeah, that
so
magazine.
we're so we went through looking at the Jet magazine, and R. Kelly was in at the Cap Center in DC. It's like, okay. So we're looking at the Jet magazine, and somebody said, "Man, I wish we knew him. We could probably go to his concert." And Cliff said, "Oh, ain't no problem. We're in the hotel." And he said, "Yeah, no problem." He calls, R. Kelly answers the phone and says, "Hey, I got this group of people that want to come to your show tonight." Okay, all right, we'll give them VIP treatment. We get there, walked around the tour buses, came through the back door, walked in, backstage, and then walked out from backstage to get our VIP seats at the Cap Center for the R. Kelly concert. And he was with Heavy
Wow.
D. So afterwards, we had met R. Kelly, of course, and Heavy D. But yeah, Cliff played with us that year. But what we were doing is we were trying to figure out a way to get these guys in that had this status. So we had a guy named Jeff Jenkins that was, I mean, he was probably better than anybody in the NBA at that point. He played with us. But Jeff, in a game in Dallas when we played in '94, he's fussing at the referees. Like, what are you talking to the referees for about plays? And then the other team scoring on us while he's talking to the
Mm,
referees. So after that tournament, we said, you know what? We don't need anybody else. What we need to win is here, right with us now. We got the nucleus of the team that we need, and we went with the nucleus. And after we decided to do that, we started winning all our tournaments.
yeah.
And so it wasn't about picking up somebody who had that kind of status. It was about uh, finding somebody who knew how to be a team player like we were team players.
Yeah, that's it's a fit. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
thinking back at the Bulls, you mentioned Cliff Leviston. I remember when he played for the Hawks too.
Oh yeah.
Cliff
Yeah.
Leviston back in the day
Yeah.
with Dominique Wilkins,
Yeah.
and Doc Rivers and them. But when he did go play for the Bulls, his role was to hustle, rebound. They had a whole bunch of guys that did that. And then of
Right.
course Michael did the scoring, and they ran that triangle. They ran the triangle offense. But that team, if you go back to the first repeat of the Bulls, it wasn't like that was just a stacked roster, but it
Right.
was a lot of pieces that fit,
Exactly.
together, and
Yeah.
everybody knew their role. So that sounds like how you guys were
And that,
with
that
your
yeah,
team.
that's exactly how we were. And Jerome Earl, and I tell this story. Jerome Earl and Mark, excuse me, I'm sorry, Jerome Earl and Maurice. Maurice was our coach and manager of the team, but they wanted attention and they wanted spotlight. Whereas Mark and I, we were kind of back and we just did our job, didn't really care about all that. And but we all knew who was. And Earl had to learn sometimes, especially uh Jerome was the man. I mean, he was the best player we had on our team. So he was the focal point, and we wanted to get the ball to him. He could shoot, he could score it down low, whatever it may be. And then Earl, who was accustomed to being the man because he played on Jacksonville State's NAIA championship team, and he was in the military and he played on the all military team with David Robinson.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he was he was a good player, but even being a good player, you got to say, you know what, it's not my team right now. This is
Hmm.
his team. So that was Jerome. Jerome put together the team, and he was the man of the team because he was the best player.
All right.
So yeah, you're right. I mean, you got to know your role and understand that your role uh, may differ from what you are normally or what even what you're capable of. I mean, because really, it's not about you at that point. It's about the team.
Yeah. Absolutely. And hey, man, I was watching the videos on your TikTok page. Make sure y'all go to Bill McNair on TikTok. Steve Snapper Jones and Bill Walton. I mean, what a combination there. I used to love listening to their commentate games and
Yeah.
just them doing watching your videos with the hoop it up and they're doing their commentating. It was entertaining to me.
Yeah.
What was it like being around these gentlemen?
I tell you what, the crazy part about it is in Hawaii, Bill Walton was a really good guy. He actually adopted us as his team. So
Okay.
I got another video when I put out. It was a 1999 June show that they had. Because on NBC they would have for Hoop It Up, they would have June shows. So we appeared on every June show from 1995 all the way through. Then we were in the championship game every year. So we were on NBC uh, 12 times through June shows and this. So in each June show, they would actually they would come out and they wanted to interview certain people. So the one I want to post and I want people to kind of look at because I thought it was interesting. It was they talked about East versus West, who had the best basketball, and Bill Walton at some point when they interviewed us and we were at Mark's house and we were sitting around and talking about what basketball meant to us and how we love basketball, which was great commentary. But then the other part, when he said, they took a break and he came back and he said, now when we come back, uh, we're gonna show you my team Atlanta and my team Granger from Atlanta. So he actually thought of us as being a really good team. Now Snapper, after that team from Arkansas beat us that first year, or one year, he looked at me and he said, "Hey Bill, are y'all going to retire?" I was like, "Damn, man, it's probably time. It's probably time." But we came back the next year and won, and then we came
Yeah.
back the next year and won. So when you look at this, the video I'm going to post, hopefully, I think tomorrow I'm going to post it.
Okay.
uh, it's really good because it's us talking about basketball, not playing as much as just talking about the love for the game, and being around those guys uh, really made it special because you're talking Bill Walton, um, Snapper. Then also you're also talking about Doug Collins.
Oh yeah, Doug Collins. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Doug
Number one
Collins was
draft pick.
there.
He was
Yeah,
number one draft pick when he came out.
was he? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But you have him because he coached the Bulls, right?
Right, the Bulls, and then he went to Detroit later on and coached the Pistons.
Right, right. But then
Hmm.
you see us hanging out with Jerome Kersey, people like
Yeah,
that, Dr. J. I mean, then we were already talking about the ones we were playing against, like Danny Ainge, the Spud Webbs, and all those people who we
yeah.
played against throughout the years. So, but I have pictures that I got from Maurice's wife. That was us hanging out with Daryl Dawkins.
Wow,
Chocolate
legend,
Thunder. I mean, so I
legends,
got,
man.
yeah, I got pictures of all of those things. But the crazy thing, Tyrone, is I think about as much as I love David Thompson, I never met him, and
Wow.
they had I think they put a statue up at NC State, and if I didn't have to work that day, I probably would have went just to at least get his autograph and just say how inspirational he was for me. Uh,
Hmm.
I'm sure it's ways I probably could send him that. Maybe with this
Yeah,
book, maybe I can send him a book and say, hey,
yeah.
this is what I have. But David Thompson would have been one of my all time favorites that I would like to even meet. But I've been around a lot of good players, but I've been around a lot of good coaches too. I mean, because
Hmm.
playing Coach Odom and his staff at East Carolina and George Felton's and all those folks who were at Georgia Tech's and all these other big places and but I've been around a lot of good places, and I tell a story that back in the days you could call any of those coaches and they answer the phone. So when I transferred from East Carolina, I called Coach K.
Oh wow.
That's crazy. I called him
Yeah,
and he
you
answered
just
the phone.
called him. He picked up.
Well, he didn't, but they transferred me to him, and
Oh,
I talked to him about transferring, and
okay,
he was like, yeah, and he was on the hot seat at that point, though. Yeah.
okay. Was this
Yeah.
like his early stages there, or
This was 1982.
okay?
Yeah. Oh, he was on the hot seat. And I didn't really know it at that time, but we played them when I was at East Carolina. And I had a pretty good game. I had double figures, and they had a guy named Gene Banks and Vince somebody. But they had Gene Banks, so he was the main player on that team. And I had a pretty decent game against them. And so when I was getting ready to transfer, I called him, and he said, "Yeah, we not really interested in at that point. They wanted freshmen. They didn't want colleges in that point, especially colleges like that. They wanted freshmen. They didn't take transfers many times. Transfers started to be more prevalent down the road a little bit more, but at
Hmm.
that point. Now you don't even I don't even know what they call that now with that portal. You just kind of
Yeah,
jump out anytime you want, and you don't
yeah,
have to sit out a year either, like we had to sit out because I had to sit out a year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like all teams are transfers now.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
fully
Oh yeah.
transfers.
Oh yeah. No
Yeah.
doubt. No doubt. But
Well, before
yes. Go ahead.
oh
I'm sorry.
no, I'll say
No,
before we
I
get
didn't
out
have
of it.
anything.
Oh, okay, before we get out of the 3-on-3, man, you was able to also play against a team from China. Is that right?
Actually, it's from Japan.
Japan. Okay, from Japan. Okay.
So I guess my name was on something, and I get this call from New York, and it was some agency out of New York, and they were saying, "Hey, we got this Japanese team or a team from Japan that had some representatives that wanted to play y'all in a game," and it said that they saw you guys on NBC when y'all won in Hawaii, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I said, "Well, I got to get you in touch with our manager and coach, Maurice Evans." So then they set it up. They came over. They went through and visited the Hawks and some other things. We played
Hmm.
at the Evander Holyfield gym over off of Boulevard, and we they set us up. So of course I'm from Milledge. I was the only one from Milledgeville, so they had to get me a hotel around that area over in Buckhead, and it was they offered us, of course, money to do it, and we said, okay, we'll do it. And so they get over here and they see us because they had went to the run and shooting, played against some guys they filmed over there. Then they came to they came and they saw us, and the producer came and talked to us in our locker room, and he said, "Hey, we didn't realize y'all was that much bigger than us." I was like, "Oh, okay." So he said, "Well, could you just let them win?" Because it was for TV Asahi, which is a network in Japan
Okay.
that they had this challenge, and we were the basketball challenge. And Mark said, "No, we can't let them win." But then we said we would let them score a little bit more. So if you look at it, they look over and they see some little kids walk in and they say something in their language, and next thing you know they start playing this Godzilla music, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was some music that sound different, and it's like, oh my God, what's going on? So now all of a sudden they start scoring, but if you look at it, it's basically the same move every time they score. But they didn't realize that we were that much more advanced than them. And of course, like I see you showing now that me dunking, which I had a little upstand, Tyrone. I,
Yeah.
I was Air McNair back then. Now I'm ground zero. uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, we did play against them, and it showed on their TV Asahi station, and so we had a following from Japan as well, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah, very good, man. I mean, how often can someone say, "Hey, a team from another country is gonna call and want to play us"? You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying?
That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
It was kind of when I got that call, I was like, back then you didn't have cell phones, so they called me at work, and I was like, okay, I guess this is real. Didn't really know, and got Maurice together with him, and we set it up and played that game, and it appeared on their television station in Japan, and kind of worked itself out. So we're worldwide. So when I say,
yeah,
some people can say worldwide, and they may not. They may be like my hometown. We had the Dunn Irwin International Airport. How it became international, I don't know, because it's just single engine crop dusting planes that fly out of there. But they made that up, I'm sure, in my hometown. But this is not make believe. It actually happened. So that's a
yeah.
good.
Look at that hang time. You still up there. I mean, this whole time we were talking, like you
I
just
know,
up
right?
there.
I know, I know, I know, I know. Yeah, yeah. That's how it was back then, Tyrone. Just hanging in there as long as I need to.
Yeah, Dominique Wilkins. All right.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I know we're gonna kind of land the plane here in a little bit,
Okay.
but we can't not talk about officiating. I
Oh
mean, I
yeah.
see you have the GHSA shirt on, and
Right.
so can you dive into a little bit of what got you into officiating? Was it
I
just
tell you
after your
what.
playing days, or?
Well, in Milledgeville, Alfonso, Alfonso Javier. He asked me every week. Actually, he and this guy named Cisco Moss, and I actually tell this story, some in my book. But
Okay.
Cisco Moss and Alfonso, they started asking me about officiating and umpiring because Cisco was the uh, softball umpire over in Millersville, and Alfonso, of course, basketball. So I didn't really have that much of a desire to do softball. But then Alfonso, first year I was there, he said it. But I'm a basketball player, man. I'm playing in adult league, and we won the state championship in adult league one year. I mean, we used to have problems with those teams from Warner Robins and Macon, but we finally got to where we could beat them. And
Mhm.
actually, Kellen's dad was one of the people that we had to play against.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
Kellen.
two. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So Alfonso asked me for 3 years, basically, and I denied, and then one day he asked me, and I said, I'd try it. So I went over to Warner Robins, joined their association, trained by William West and Mr. Hartman.
Okay.
And I tell the story all the time about I went to the training. It was over at Tabor Middle School or something like that. It's off somewhere near Moody Road. I can't remember what it was. But we had the training. I go out there, Tyrone. I'm sharp too, man. At that point, I had my S curl and my nice little faded out hair on the side, and had my uniform sharp as a tack. And back then, you can get this stuff called penny shine, and it was a spray, and you would spray it on your shoes, and you look down on your
Okay.
shoes, and they were like glass. But by the time the end of the game, it was just matted all up and looked crazy. But when you walked out, you looked good. So anyway, so I'm over there, I'm looking sharp on the court. Get out there on the court. William West and Mr. Hartman, they were the trainers that night, and I was like, oh man. And I had said, man, I played basketball all my life. This got to be easy. Who wants to be first? I'm first. I walk out there, 2-man crew. Man, I didn't know what um, Cadillac position was or boxing in. I had no clue. Matter of fact, the ball went out one time. I didn't know whether to call a foul or go try to rebound.
Right.
So I was confused. I was really confused. Go back. We leave there. A lot of the guys from Millersville, we rode together. Alfonso, Lee Watkins, and Ronnie Dixon, some Dwayne and Bert Huff, all of us together. We stopped at a Burger King on Moody Road, sat in there, and I was like, man, this is crazy. They were talking about how well they did. I'm over there quiet. Get to my house, and I told my wife, and I said, I can't do this. I know I spent all my money for a uniform. I just can't do it. And she basically talked me out of quitting. She said, you ain't never been a quitter before. Why you gonna do it now? I said, okay. So I um I actually cried, Tyrone.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
I struggled with that. So I couldn't sleep. Finally I fell asleep, woke up the next day, picked up my rule book, started reading as much as I could, started watching only basketball was on with some kind of NBA at that point. And so that's why up front, when you saw me, my mechanics looked a lot like NBA when I first started. And then Alfonso, who recruited me, and I said, you know what, you're gonna probably regret this in a little bit because I called him probably 10 times a day, asking questions. Um, Finally worked my way up in Warner Robins, and they finally gave me a game. Had my first game with Arthur White at Crawford County.
Oh,
That was
Arthur
my
White.
first. That was my first high school game, and we had Crawford County. On my way from Millersville to Crawford County to Roberta, I think I checked um, my bag. I stopped on the side of the road, and I checked my bag like 10 times between Millersville, outside of Lizelle or whatever it was. When I got every time I would think about it, I would just check my bag, get there, and it was a bad storm that night. I think the lights went out, all kind of stuff because it was a bad storm. But we finished the game. Get to the Warner Robins meeting the next week. Of course, Arthur Lee Harris and Tommy Starnicker and all those guys there, and they're kind of going, and I'm looking at it, it's intimidating. Tate Foston from Millersville, and so I was like, "Hey," they said something. I want to interject myself into the meeting, and I remember trying to ask some kind of question and or talking about my game because I was excited because I had my first high school game, and basically Tate said, "Oh, no, 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 no." don't talk about it, because now I didn't realize that referees can be kind of petty too. And by me getting my first game, and some of them who've been there for 20 years and haven't even got a high school game.
Hmm.
I've only been involved for 2 years or so. That wasn't going to fly over too well. So I had to learn from those veterans, like a Tate Folsom, and say sometimes you don't tell or give all the information out about what your schedule is, because everybody's not happy for you. And referees, we can be the we definitely not happy for everybody
Yeah.
that is moving ahead of us sometimes. Which, and I think we talked about this before, is that by us being kind of similar in personalities in some ways, um, people like us, I mean, we're happy for people who move up. I mean, and we understand that if it's our time, it's going to be our time. And
Right.
high school wise, man, I can't even say that I could even imagine anything else I would want to do, Tyra. Unless they do come out with the something like the Hall of Fame for high school basketball referees in Georgia.
Yeah.
If they ever do that, yeah, I would like to be a part of that. But
Yeah.
I've done almost anything you want to do on the high school level, from being the referee of the year a couple of times to
Hmm.
refereeing championship games all the way through. But all of that, I contribute just to the people who helped or mold me, from Ronnie Dixon, who one time said to me in a game, he said, "Don't call anything you can't explain."
Right.
Okay. And I use that even now. I mean, if I can't explain it, I ain't gonna call it.
That's
But
right.
in order to be able to explain it, I need to get into that rule book to make sure I can.
Exactly.
But then uh, Alfonso just begging me to even be a part of refereeing, which now I couldn't imagine not being a referee. I can't even imagine being a player. But I definitely now at this point can't imagine not being a part of the referee family. And that doesn't mean I'm going to referee for the next 20 years, because this could be my last year refereeing. I mean, because um, I'm at that point where I'm ready to kind of blow my whistle for the last time, and get more on the administrative side of helping other people achieve their goals and power forward. Just like we say, we're going to power forward in this refereeing too. So the next time you hear something from me on as far as a book, it's probably going to be a referee book. It won't be power forward at that point. I'm going to think of something
Yeah.
that'll be catchy though.
Oh
But
yeah.
I enjoy refereeing, and all the people, from Andy Coward being my mentor for a while, and seemed like it's been great because he's given me opportunities just by me being a good person. You know, just like you, I'm just saying we're good people. So we sometimes we get opportunities just because of that. And uh, Andy looked out for me on the GISA level, and then he looked out for me on the Georgia high school level, and then I had to
Hmm.
establish myself. And when after I established myself, then now I am the person that can give back, just like Andy and Alfonso's and some of those folks did for me. And Tate Folsom too. I had to say him. All of those folks did for me.
Yeah, and there's a lot of legendary people in officiating, and it's funny that you mentioned the Hall of Fame because I actually had a phone call set to send you to talk about that because
Hmm.
an officials Hall of Fame. I have some ideas about that.
Yeah,
Um, maybe, maybe we could talk about that soon too.
yeah. Yeah, I
When we
just
get
think that,
time.
and especially on Georgia high school level, it's just so many. In college too, it's a lot of really good referees from Georgia, and
Yeah,
I don't think we're doing ourselves a disservice not um, uh, being. People need to know. I guess that's
yeah,
what I'm trying. People need to know what we're doing, and a lot of us treat this as uh, it's more of an avocation that we really want to be a part of this society of referees, because it is a family. It's a family of people who work hard. We are professional at all times. We can't act up on the court. Coaches, they're professional, but then they can do whatever they want to do sometimes. But guess what? The referees got to be the same in calmness throughout the game. And that's one thing that's got me as far as I have, because I figured that out early, that that I'm not going to let many people rattle me just by what they say or do. But if you get to some point, all right, let me see. Ronnie Dixon said, "Don't call anything that I don't that I can't explain." I read that if that bench decorum is not like I'm supposed to be on this court, I can call technical foul or I can
Right.
warn. So now
Hmm.
I know what I can do, and as long as we have that in mind, that we are the authority on that court at that point. So I mean, we're gonna call it the way we see it, and if sometimes you miss calls, but if you miss a call, own up to it and just don't miss that same call again.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Oh, absolutely. And man, we can definitely get together and talk even more about it. We can talk about that for hours because
Oh
there's
yeah,
all
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
things we
yeah,
can
yeah,
talk about.
yeah.
But that's another segment of your timeline.
Okay.
And also you said referees are family. And before we get out of here, is there anything you want to mention about your family? From your child, your children, grandchildren,
Yeah.
anything of that you want to just share with us?
Yeah. Well, like I said, my grandmother Bessie, who raised me from the time I was about 3 or 4. My grandparents Queen and Charlie. Before that, all my uncles, my mom, my dad, my kids. I mean, I have a chapter in there about my son, and I have a chapter in there about my daughter. So, um, especially my son, I actually am a teenage father as well. And my son at that point didn't seem like a blessing, but the name of this chapter is Hidden Blessing, because he ended up being a blessing for me. Uh, Grounded me in a lot of ways because I was going in the wrong direction in some ways, because I uh, started feeling myself, or whatever it was what you do when you think you more than what you really are at that point. And somebody needed to ground me. So the Lord said, you know what? We're going to figure this thing out. It's a roundabout way of doing it. But then my son was able to do that for me when I was a 17-year-old. So,
Yes, sir.
and I'm glad that that happened. But then people who were inspirational, and even when I was married at that point, I mean, for my wife at that time to say, you're not a quitter.
Right.
She said that. I mean, you're not a quitter, so why are you going to quit? And then, on up to now, just people they're part of my life. But I really think family is very important to all of us, and don't ever forget about your family, because family help shape you and help mold you. I tell you this real quick. My uncle Danny, he lives in Charlotte, and when I was writing the book, he said, I called him. I said, Uncle Dan, I didn't realize that y'all were that important to me and how you shaped me in so many ways. He said, you know what, Bill, it's not all about you. And I said, well, Uncle Danny, it's about me if I'm writing about me. And then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what, he's right. It isn't all about me. And when you read the book, you'll see that it's really not all about me. It's
Hmm.
about all the people who helped shape me, because I'm the fabric of each one of them. And this fabric turned out to be okay, even if I didn't have a a toilet and we had an
Right.
outlet when I started. But the
Yeah.
Lord's blessed me in so many ways. And I will say that when my mom had me, and I wasn't ready when I had my son, but he ended up being a blessing to me, a hidden blessing. But when my mom had me at an early age, she wasn't ready. But for whatever reason, the Lord said, you know what? I'm going to make sure that he's got grandparents that are ready, because this guy, I want him around for a while. My grandmother, Bessie, who raised me, she died in 1986. And I had to talk to my mom. My mom's always been in my life, but I said, I need you more now than ever before. And in 1986, my mom was ready. And now my mom's been ready for a long time. Cause in 86 and now, and she's still living. And I talk to her all the time. And she's like that bridge between the past, that all the love I received from grandparents and uncles that are gone and family members that are gone. And she is that bridge for me to make sure that I'm going in the right direction, uh,
Hmm.
even now as an adult. And I appreciate all my family and friends that have made that happen. I will say that you look at my 3-on-3 team. Um, Mark is no longer here. He passed away. Maurice, our coach that I met to kind of make sure we were gonna, he's passed away. Uh, and my best friend Jerome, he's gone as well. So it took me 2.5 years to be able to look at pictures of him, and watching all these videos that I'm posting. People wouldn't even have an idea of how painful it's been just to write the story, and how I had to power forward through all of that. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to pick that name, because it's a mindset. And I miss drawing them every day. Um, I have days that I sit down, Tyrone. I tell you this. I mean, I don't mind anybody else knowing. I cry, man, and just say,
Yeah.
"Why did he leave me here by myself in this cruel world?" But because we talk 10 times a day, and
Wow.
it was about family. It was about things. He was my guiding force in a lot of ways, spiritually, and just mentally keeping me sane. And then taking something like that away from me is tough. So on October 3rd, the reason why I picked October 3rd is because that would be the anniversary of his death. And Jerome, um, we always talked about writing a book together. So really, this book is dedicated to Jerome and uh, his vision on the 3-on-3, but not only that, but his unwavering support for me as his best friend. So I appreciate that, and hopefully everybody go out and pick up this a copy of this book. Like I said, it's on Amazon on hardcover and ebook, and it'll be available early morning on next this coming Friday morning at October the 3rd. So pick it up, and you'll learn about me. You're gonna learn a lot about Jerome, but hopefully you'll learn about persevering through a lot of the things that could be obstacles for you in any part of your life, whether it's a parent, a kid, a referee, a basketball player, a coach, or anybody that have those things that pop up. This will be a way, hopefully, to give you an insight on how I powered forward through it. And if I can do it, you can too.
Yes, sir. Well stated there, Mr. McNair, and definitely appreciate you uh, taking the time to be on.
Oh,
And
and I appreciate you.
yes, sir. It's been nothing but a pleasure. And looking forward to the book. I'll be ready to purchase it on October 3rd.
Hey, man.
And
Yeah. Hey, support your brother.
yeah, definitely will. Oh,
You
yeah,
know, and
without a doubt.
I tell you this real quick. I think it's a good story because I mean I've read some books and I've heard
Hmm.
stories, but I mentioned to you the other day that you don't have to be famous to write a story. I mean, all of us have a story, and I encourage each and every one of you to go out there and write your story. And what I said to you the other day, Tyrone, because what you may not realize is that the people that would want to hear your story may not be born yet.
Yes,
And with that in mind, don't take this information with you. Go ahead and write it so people can actually see, because you just never know who it would touch, and give them the opportunity to power forward through any obstacle in their life.
absolutely. Absolutely. Words to live by there. And big shout out to Hot Tub Tony. He's out of the Atlanta area, and he's uh, born Atlanta through and through. And he definitely agrees with you about kids. They'll definitely ground you. And he says another dope interview. We definitely appreciate that, and definitely appreciate your comments there. And the book is coming out October 3rd. Be ready to check it out. Power Forward, which we all will do.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, for Mr. McNair, I'm Mr. 411. We're going to leave you with the video that we played in the intro, but we'll catch you all on the other side. We thank you for tuning in. Make sure you watch the re-air, share it, because sharing is caring. Make sure you follow Mr. McNair on TikTok because he has those videos of the Hoop It Up 3-on-3. Uh, those some great videos. I've already watched my fair share of them, and I'm waiting on the next ones to drop. But check him out on TikTok, and it's at Bill McNair on TikTok. All right. Everybody have a great day.